Patriarch Minh Dang Quang was an influential figure who profoundly shaped Buddhism in southern Vietnam in the first half of the 20th century. His secular name was Nguyen Thanh Dat, born on September 26, 1923, in Phu Hau Village, Tam Binh District, Vinh Long Province in the south of Vietnam. His father was Nguyen Thanh Hieu, and his mother, Pham Thi Nhan, unexpectedly passed away nearly a year after giving birth. Subsequently, his stepmother, Ha Thi Song, provided gentle care during his early childhood. Despite being the youngest child, Nguyen Thanh Dat exhibited exceptional intelligence and compassion from an early age. During his childhood, rather than spending money on himself when given by his parents, he saved it to offer to the impoverished, reflecting his deepening Buddhist faith, further evidenced by his adherence to vegetarianism and participation in evening puja rituals with his father. In 1937, defying his father's prohibition, Nguyen Thanh Dat left home for Nam Vang, now Cambodia, to pursue a religious path. He immersed himself in Buddhist studies for 4 years under the tutelage of Master Luc Ta Keo, who had a mixed Vietnamese Khmer ancestry but was predominantly influenced by Vietnamese culture. After this period, dissatisfied that his spiritual pursuit remained unfulfilled, he returned to his Vietnamese hometown in late 1941. Upon his return, per his father's arrangement, he married Kim Hugh in 1942 and had a daughter, Nguyen Kim Lien. However, impermanence struck. His wife died shortly after childbirth, and his daughter, under the care of relatives, passed away from illness a few years later. These repeated losses painfully reminded him of the lessons of impermanence, fostering a profound understanding. After this event, having transcended earthly attachments to wife and children, he deeply grasped the impermanence of life. Therefore, in 1944, at the age of 22, he decided to seek the ultimate truth, telling his third sister, "I will travel to Phu Quoc to focus on spiritual cultivation. Once I reach enlightenment, I will come back." He then went to Ha Tien, intending to go to Phu Quoc, then by sea to Thailand. However, missing the boat, he went to the Mui Nai Cliff and meditated for 7 days and nights. While gazing at the sea one afternoon, witnessing a fishing boat bobbing on the undulating waves, with foam cresting and dissipating, he realized the fundamental truths: impermanence, suffering, and the absence of an immutable self. He understood that existence and non-existence, life and death, joy and anguish are part of an ever-changing flux, ebbing and flowing like the tides. This insight into all phenomena's transient nature marked his enlightenment at Mui Nai, in Kien Giang province. Afterward, he returned to inform his family of attaining enlightenment. He then went to the secluded, sparsely populated mountainous region of That Son, present-day An Giang province, to further contemplate and deepen his realization. Not long after, he was invited to reside near Lin Bu Pagoda for 3 years, from 1944 to 1947, practicing the tradition of going for alms each morning like Buddhist monks of the past. He realized that to propagate Buddhist teachings, he must assume a fully ordained monk's appearance, with robes and an alms bowl. Therefore, in 1946, before Lin Bu Pagoda's altar, he took the vow upholding 250 monk precepts, taking the Dhamma name Minh Dang Quang. He founded Vietnamese Mendicant Buddhism with the mission of continuing Shakyamuni's teachings on the True Dharma. He skillfully established a unique Vietnamese Buddhist sect by combining the essence of Mahāyāna and Theravāda Buddhism. Perpetuating Shakyamuni's True Dhamma meant maintaining the way of life and practice when the Buddha was alive, donning robes and carrying an alms bowl to collect food offerings for daily sustenance. Since then, Patriarch Minh Dang Quang embodied a homeless, moneyless, familyless monk, going out bareheaded and barefoot every morning, wearing tattered yellow robes, carrying an alms bowl, begging for food, living the monastic life according to the Sangha's tradition during the Buddha's time to spread his teachings. The Patriarch pointed out the noble purpose of the mendicant in practicing begging, not out of greed but for the sake of cultivation, developing wisdom, and nurturing their spirituality. This starkly opposes ordinary beggars who beg solely to fulfill material needs. The value of Khất Sĩ mendicant and beggars are vastly different, as far apart as heaven and earth. Beggars, due to their disabilities, beg for alms, but their greed, hatred, and ignorance remain undiminished. In contrast, Khất Sĩ are intelligent, virtuous, and physically robust individuals. The important point is that the mendicant does not merely beg for survival, but aims to study, cultivate spiritually, and develop wisdom according to the Buddhist path. He highlighted the Buddhist mendicant tradition's profound significance and precious value through the practice of alms begging, according to the authentic transmission of the robe and bowl from ancient Buddhist monks. The image of a wandering mendicant monk carrying an alms bowl to receive offerings is a means of engagement with the world to liberate sentient beings, exemplifying enlightenment and emancipation, relinquishing greed, hatred, and delusion, eradicating the narrow self-attachment, and transcending base clinging. The mendicant lives in the spirit of selflessness and altruism, harmoniously coexisting with the vast realm of sentient beings, abiding in freedom and joy, assured to attain ultimate liberation and Buddhahood in the not-too-distant future. The patriarch explained the path of practice for mendicants. We mendicant propagate the true Dharma of the Buddha Shakyamuni, appearing in Vietnam, to strive to emulate the Buddha's example, repaying the Buddha's kindness, and fulfilling our debt to all sentient beings. The community of mendicant Khất Sĩ monks arises due to causes and conditions, in accordance with the universal truth, progressing towards nirvana. It is the path of virtue, neither rooted in the human realm nor residing in celestial abodes, nor confined to any particular family, society, or race. Their purpose is liberation, perfect enlightenment, living together in cultivation for themselves and all beings, aspiring to bring about present nirvana, transcending the human condition. Under his guidance, the mendicant Buddhist monks' congregation traveled throughout southern Vietnam and Saigon, now Ho Chi Minh City, propagating Buddhist teachings and providing spiritual refuge amid the sorrowful war. Within a brief tenure, from propagating the Dhamma until his 1954 disappearance, Patriarch Minh Dang Quang made notable achievements. He ordained over 100 Buddhist monks and nuns, led thousands to refuge in the Three Jewels, and established 30 monasteries. Authorities permitted him to preach Buddhist doctrine across southeast and southwest Vietnam, forming a foundation for developing the Vietnamese Buddhist mendicant sect. During this time, he wrote 69 Vietnamese essays, with each lecture commencing with the phrase Chơn Lý preceding its title. Using simple language for all societal strata, from farmers to intellectuals, to access Buddha's teachings, as most sutras then employed the Sino-Vietnamese script with Chinese characters. The collection of 69 teachings provides a comprehensive overview of Buddhist doctrine, Vinaya, and various related topics such as cultivation methods, philosophy, ethics, and social life. These teachings are systematically organized into specific thematic categories. In Buddhist philosophy, some essays explore the concept of universal origins and the understanding of nature and humanity, such as cosmology, the five aggregates, the six senses, the 12 links of dependent origination, explaining the cycle of rebirth and suffering, being and non-being, birth and death, and male and female. Relating to meditation methods and techniques to attain realization and enlightenment, essays cover the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha's guidance for ending suffering, perfect enlightenment, bowl and robe lineage, meditative absorption, right Dhamma, miraculous, contemplation by counting the breath, Buddha's Dhamma of supreme enlightenment. Moreover, essays connect with Mahayana schools of thought and doctrinal developments, such as three religions, Mahayana teachings, Dhamma treasury, Amitabha Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, Moggallana, Kshitigarbha, Earth treasury, the Lotus Sutra, True Suchness, and so forth. Other essays include universal justice, enlightenment, encouraging spiritual cultivation, renouncing the world, eating and living, basic human needs, the lion, seeds of enlightenment, fear of sin, repentance, associating thoughts, actions, and karma. Regarding moral lifestyles or models for a peaceful, happy society, subjects such as the Institute for Dhamma, Sources of Dhamma, Ethical Life, and Heavenly Realm exist. Additionally, there are volumes concerning lessons of monastic discipline, such as Patimokkha for Bhikkhu, Patimokkha for Bhikkhuni, Rules of Disciplines for Buddhist mendicants, Dhamma teachings for novices, and rules of conduct for lay Buddhists. In 1954, he disappeared when he was only 32 years old, but an impactful decade of propagating the Dharma. Despite his short time, he significantly contributed to the Vietnamese Buddhist revival movement and founded the Vietnamese Buddhist Mendicant tradition. Looking back on his life, he went through a lot of suffering and loss, which made him understand that life is short and nothing lasts. Because loss and suffering teach us that life is short, people can find a way to escape suffering by thinking about how short life is. Because of this event, his mother died when he was only 10 months old. His stepmother cared for him, just like in the Prince Siddhartha story of the past. Then, he saw the painful and temporary scene of his wife and children dying. He had to learn this lesson to understand the nature of impermanence. In the past, when Buddha was still alive, his famous bhikkhuni also learned to understand the suffering of the impermanent. People knew her from the story of the mustard seed, or Kisa Gotami, the mother of a dead child. In this way, it's clear that Patriarch Minh Dang Quang and Kisa Gotami's painful losses have helped them understand the nature of impermanence and find a way to free themselves from misery through spiritual practice. Until now, Patriarch Minh Dang Quang's death is still unknown. According to documented records, he disappeared on the first day of the second lunar month in 1954 while traveling from Vinh Long to Cần Thơ. The records state that there were no further confirmed sightings of the patriarch after this date, nor any definitive evidence found regarding his death. He was reported to have disappeared on the first day of the second lunar month in 1954 when he was 32 years old.